Hi friends, it's Pixie. Welcome to my place. I'm happy to have you. So glad you can make it to my gothtober TBR. I'm holding this red skull because it has a little folded up piece of paper in it with the titles of the books that I want to read for gothtober. So if you don't know what gothtober is, I will explain more later once I've started drawing, but basically it's a month-long readathon that takes place in October, and there's prompts, and this year there's teams. I'm gonna be on the demon team, a hellhound, so we're all winners because it's for fun, but also we're gonna win. So what I'm gonna do for this video is I am going to shake up my books, and then I'm going to take two. This looks so morbid. I'm gonna take two of these, and then I'm gonna draw something inspired by these two titles. So let's see which ones we have. Ooh, okay. The first one is Frankenstein in Baghdad. And the second one, ooh, Angel's Game. So a fun fact about Angel's Game is that it doesn't actually fit any of the prompts as far as I know right now, but I put it in as a wild card because Angel's Game, the protagonist is a gothic fiction author. It's a 5-star prediction, and it has everything to do with like angels and demons, which is the whole theme of this year's Gothtober. So it just felt right. So I plan on reading it, and we'll see if it fits any prompts. So here are my inspirations for today's drawing. And I will talk about all the books. This is the physical TBR I have for Gothtober, but I have a couple bookmarked on Scribd to fill some of the prompts. So yay! I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I hope you can tell. Okay, I'm gonna draw. Future Pixie will talk to you in a magic editing second. Okay.
What's up, future friends? It's voiceover Pixie. Something I forgot to say is if you are doing Gothtober, please let me know what you are reading. I would love to hear it. Write it in the comments, link to your TBR video in the comments. Just tell me. I'm so excited and I want to consume all of it. So I know I said that I would talk more about the readathon in the voiceover, but I actually think I explained it pretty well. So there are 2 teams this year and one like neutral team. There's angels, demons, and then the death team, which is neutral. And every team has 10 prompts in total, 3 that are the same for everyone, and those are to read a book about disability, a book by an author of color, and a book about lgbt people. I'm actually unsure if these like representation prompts are meant to be having characters of those experiences or having authors of those experiences, but I have kind of done both. And then there are 6 other prompts. And I'll talk about those first because those apply to the books I am drawing about. So Frankenstein in Baghdad is for the classics prompts because obviously Frankenstein is a classic and Frankenstein in Baghdad is a take on that. And I think this book sounds so good. I'm really excited to read it. I think I talked about it in my 5-star predictions video, so I'll keep it brief. It's basically about a man who collects body parts in war-torn Baghdad to give these people like a burial that they wouldn't have gotten, and then strange things start happening. It's supposed to be like an anti-war kind of thing, and I think it sounds really good. Angel's Game doesn't actually fit a prompt as far as I know, but to briefly explain what it's about a gothic fiction author, like I said, and he is really struggling, and he enters a weird publishing deal with a demon or possibly an angel. That's what it says on the back. Is it a demon or an angel? So I think that sounds super on theme, and I'm excited to find out if there's any murder in it, for example, or perhaps dark romance. Is there an omen? Because those are some of the other prompts. But for the murder prompt, the book I've chosen is The Strain by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan. And I'm gonna be honest, I have this because it's by Guillermo del Toro and I enjoy his movies, and it's about vampires, and I enjoy vampires. And all I know about it is that it's about vampirism being spread by a virus. So kind of like zombification is usually spread. And I think that sounds interesting. So we'll see how that one pans out. But I assume there's going to be some kind of murder at some point because vampires. Another prompt I'm really excited about, like literally when I first heard the prompts for the demon team, I was like, you're saying all of my favorite words. Mythology, classics, murder, and found family. So for the mythology prompt, I have found a book on Scribd that I had saved already to possibly read sometime. Master of Jinn by P. Jelly Clark. So it's an sort of alternate fantasy history set in 1912 Cairo. And there's something about a secret brotherhood and some kind of returning mythical figure, I think. And the main character is a lesbian or bisexual, so that's fun. There is murder in this one too, but it just sounds really intriguing, and I am excited to read it. I realize now, though, that maybe it's not as heavy on the mythology as I thought it was when I read another summary of it, but I am gonna count it anyway, because you can't pin me down. I have made perhaps a bit of a strange choice for the found family prompt. I've chosen Sweet Thursday by John Steinbeck. I was looking through my TBR shelf for a book to read for this prompt, and when I read the back of this one, I thought, this is actually gonna fit, I think. It's about a sad old doctor and his friends throw him a party to cheer him up, and they're all like kind of misfits, run down kind of people. It's weird because it says that it's like a funny and humorous and lighthearted book, and the books I've read by Steinbeck before have not been very lighthearted. They have been about class struggle and suffering, so it'll be interesting to read this one. Another one of the prompts is omens. And for that, I have chosen The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, which is apparently like a modern Gothic classic that I actually didn't know about and just randomly found when I was scouring my local thrift shop last year. And I thought, this looks Gothic, and it was. I am basing this very loosely on how the back makes it sound like the titular woman in black is kind of an omen. It's some kind of investigator who comes to a small town and there's a funeral and weird things happen. That's basically all I know, and I want to go into it not knowing much. There's also a film or TV prompt in this readathon, and we're supposed to watch something with demons when we're on the demons team, but I might just watch the film version of The Woman in Black when I've read it. Otherwise, I don't really know what I would do for that prompt. If you have suggestions, please leave them below. Another prompt is dark romance, and that's not really my thing, but I think The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry is going to fit enough. The quote at the start makes it sound like the book is a lot about relationships, or a relationship rather, and it's also Gothic. There's some kind of mythical beast, apparently a serpent, in Essex, and she teams up with the local priest and they try to solve this. And it's like set in the 1800s, I think. To circle back to the representation prompts, the reason I've thought a bit about like how to interpret them is because I want to read Paradise Lost by John Milton. I found out a while ago that John Milton was blind, so he is a disabled author. And the reason I want to read Paradise Lost isn't for the disability representation, because that's not what it is. I don't think, at least. It's about like the fall from Eden. And when I studied Gothic fiction at university, it kept coming up as like a genesis of the Gothic fiction genre. It kept being referenced as an inspiration for the early Gothic writers. So I'm really interested in reading it. I think it would be really interesting. For the author of color prompt, I have another 5-star prediction, The Opposite House by Helen Oyeyemi, which is about a Cuban girl in London and sort of the split identity diaspora experience. And there seems to be something slightly supernatural about it. There's a song she keeps hearing, I think. Helen Oyeyemi tends to use like magical devices to tell her stories, and I love that shit. So I'm excited to finally like force myself to read a book I think I'm gonna love. And for the LGBT prompt, I have Pride, the inspiring true story behind the hit film by Tim Tate with LGSM. LGSM, this is also a 5-star prediction, by the way, so you may have heard me talk about this before. LGSM stands for Lesbians and Gays Support the Miners, and was an organization built during the miners' strike in Britain in the 80s. And in 2014, there was a film about it called Pride. It's really good, I highly recommend it. But the film did take some liberties with the actual history to make it a better movie, essentially. So this book is more of a documentary of that movement. I think it's gonna be really good. Anyway, about the drawing, I went a lot less ambitious with this TB drawer than the last one, because I did not have time or energy to spend like 3 days on a conceptual illustration. So I just went in thinking of one book at a time, essentially. And I was looking at some public domain images that I have saved, and I saw this like Sisyphus illustration, and I thought that was a really cool pose. So I borrowed that pose and made it into like a sewn together Frankenstein character, and I realized he could be pushing like a bomb to get the like anti-war theme in there. And the angels game, I just drew an angel without looking at the drawing and put some checker squares on it, which kind of makes you almost unable to see the angel, but I don't know. It was a really nice sketchbook session and a lot more of a doable way to do this. So maybe I can actually do this more often than I thought I could if I kind of lower the bar a little bit. Let me know what you think of these, by the way. I think they're really fun. So would you like to see them more? Because I would love to make more of this kind of video. Regardless, thank you very much for coming to hang out and listening to me be confused about books I haven't read. If you got this far, please comment down below with your best found family recommendations, because I love that and I need more of it in my life. Speaking of found family, a big thank you to my patrons who help me being able to afford art supplies like the sketchbook I was drawing in. I appreciate you so much. That's all. Until I see you next time, please take care of yourself. Goodbye.